Coming home to your breath. Coming home to your body. Coming home to this precious present moment on this Saturday afternoon, second Saturday of May. Joining spirits, minds, and bodies in mindful movement. So I'm going to just begin to help to set the stage with a reading from the Radiant Sutras. This is for you, Henry. The one who is at play everywhere says, there is a space in the heart where everything meets. Come here if you want to find me. Mind, senses, soul, eternity, all are here. Are you here? Enter the bowl of vastness that is the heart. Listen to the song that is always resonating. Give yourself to it with total abandonment. Quiet ecstasy is here in a steady, regal sense of resting in a perfect spot. You, who are the embodiment of blessing, once you know the way, the nature of attention will call you to return again and again. Answer that call and be saturated with knowing, I belong here. I am at home. Taking the hands into the prayer position in front of the heart in a gesture of gratitude, prayer, reverence, and honor. Set an intention to be present in whatever way possible for the next hour or so, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, if possible. And chanting internally to yourself the sound of the universe creating itself, the sacred sound of Om, the sound that all vibration emanates from and returns to, and the space between. And bowing your head to the divinity, which is you, to the beginner, the novice, as well as the teacher within yourself. And then taking the hands down to the floor, sweeping the arms up over the head in the big wide arc, taking the head up and the waist back, navel back, and exhaling the hands back down to the earth and to the heart. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Prayers to the earth. Inhale, edging the big, beautiful, bright sun that is shining even behind the clouds. Exhaling, hands back down the heart. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, bring your arms up over the head, but drop the shoulders down, the back. And when your palms, if they can touch, press the palms a little bit forward, so just to stretch the shoulders, stretch the back. And then inhale, coming up with a back bend, stretching open the heart. Taking the waist back and the navel back, so the back bend is in the mid-thoracic. Exhaling, hands back down. I have my lucky chair behind me, which I can use as a prop for my back bends. If you have a chair, go ahead and you can take one too. Otherwise, just lifting up and opening up from the heart. Inhaling, hands to the heart. Breathe in, lengthen. 2 more times. Exhale, prayers to the mother. Inhale, swooping the arms up and over, pressing the arms forward. So maybe your hands touch in space. Press the arms a little forward. Come into a forward extension, stretching the back. And then inhaling the arms up, and then keeping the waist back and the navel back, floating ribs towards the skin, arcing back. And then sweeping the arms up again and swooping them, edging them around the big, beautiful sun, and then hands back down to the heart. And one more time, inhaling, taking the shoulders back, waist back, navel back. Exhaling, palms come down to the earth. And then breathing in, stretching through all of the fingers and the spaces between the fingers, arms up. If your hands touch in the steeple position, great. Otherwise, wherever they are, keep the wrists nice and long, not bent, not turned, but extend the inside and the outside of the wrist up evenly. And then come forward. Let the arms come forward in a little round of the back, stretching the back, but lengthen. And then inhale, ground the legs. Exhaling, going back. Drop the legs. And exhaling, sweeping the arms down over the head. And just take a moment to receive. If you've just arrived here, perhaps you could take a couple of sun breaths, or just stay with us right here in this position, which I'll call sitting Tadasana. It's the landing position, it's the resting position, it's the coming back to position for integration. Sound of the bell is a coming home. So have a chair, if possible, ready for you. I have mine behind me right here. Like I said, my blankets are folded. This is how I sit to meditate. Sometimes I've got my 2 folded blankets with folded edges forward and the fringed edges behind me, so I have this nice solid space. And then I folded it so that I can slide the chair over the blankets. And then use the chair for some support for my back and also for some feedback. So you can also be seated in the chair if you like. Or you could be seated on the floor. Take as much height as you need blanket-wise or cushion-wise so that your knees are lower than your hips. So if you had a if you had a marble on the top of your thigh, it would roll downward. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. So that, because if your knees are up high when you're sitting, it's really hard to lift the heart chest and to free the back. So take as much height as you need so that your knees can be at least as high as your hips. And then we'll take a couple of twists. So I have about a third of my thigh up on the sitting on the blanket, and I'm going to take my right hand and bring it behind me. So I like to have my chair here so I can hold on to the chair. If you don't have a chair, then take hold of your blanket or have a block behind you. And just take a few breaths in this initial twist. So we're going to twist to the right, but imagine that you're twisting from the left side and stretch out through your left leg. Drop the weight so you're still sitting evenly on both sits bones. And breathe in and lengthen. And breathe out and sink into the support of the earth or your bolster or your blankets. And then inhale and lengthen again. Levelize your shoulders, especially your right shoulder kind of gets crunched up. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen, come back to center and over to the other side. And then back to center for a second. And then you want to lengthen up again, drop the sits bones, levelize the center of the brain right over the center of the bowl of the pelvis. And then we'll turn to the left. So we're going to the left, my left hand coming behind to the chair, which is nice, or to the blankets to help to open up that left side body. And then imagine that you're twisting, even though you're going to the left, imagine that you're twisting from the right. So your right waist rolls around, grounding the right knee, grounding the right sit bone. And then my right waist, my right ribs start to roll around. And I got to levelize the center of my brain again over the bowl of the pelvis. And then turning a little bit more by pulling on the back of on my left arm. Shoulder blades pressing into the back. So even though you're going to the left side, be aware of your right side. Consciousness, movement with breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist a little deeper. And then inhale, twist, exhale, twist a little deeper. And then breathe in as you lengthen and exhale, come back a little bit over to the other side. And then once again, just receive. Feel, notice, allow the energy shifting to integrate, for your nervous system to receive, for the blood flow from squeezing your organs and your glands and flushing them so that fresh blood, fresh prana, fresh energy, fresh water can come into the organs and the glands. And we'll take a little bit of a walk forward. So you're going to try to keep your legs grounded as you hinge forward and lead with the heart. So don't lead with the head. keep the trunk in that Tadasana position. So you're not gonna, you want to avoid rounding the shoulders. Keep the shoulder blades down the back. The shoulder blades belong to the back. And then walk yourself forward any amount, and then lift up, and then sort of little finger walk the fingers a little bit further so you're on the fingertips. You don't have to be on your hands. You can be on your fingertips. Take little walks. It's actually good. Yoga stretches your finger, strengthens your fingers. Who would have thought? Walking, 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 walking. And then you can add a little twist here. So your right elbow comes down, or maybe it's your right hand. Depends upon how open your hips are. Twisting to both sides. See if you can give yourself a little chiropractic adjustment by grounding the legs, lengthening the body, and turning like a corkscrew. Coming down, and then the other side, go both sides. And then change the cross of your legs. So the other leg is in front. Walk yourself forward. So know what your habits are. When we practice yoga, we become aware of what our tendencies are, what our habits are. And then becoming aware of them, maybe we can bring balance. Maybe we can shift and change things up a little bit. Now's the time. Good, walking a little bit side to side. And then stretching up both sides, either on your elbow. But you want to keep both of your sides long. So your right side still as long as your left side. So you're not curling and bending. Both sides of your trunk are the same length, kind of like train tracks. And then other side. So it doesn't matter how far you go down, right? Great, and bring yourself back up. Stretch the legs out. Slide off of your bolster, and then just give yourself a couple of little leg bangers, leg taps. Waking up the legs. See if you can feel this all the way down to your bones. And then circle your feet when you feel ready. Snap, crackle, pop. Circle the feet the other direction. Using your hands kind of like a kickstand to keep the trunk lifted. Shoulders back. And then take hold of your right leg and just take the leg from side to side, side to side. Keep stretching out your left leg. So be on the center of the leg. Try not to let it roll out. And then just taking the knee from side to side. Keep lifting and lengthening the side body. So take care not to, when you feel like you've collapsed, lift right back up again. And then you can take the leg. Once you've given it a couple, it's like when you're trying to get the turkey leg off of the turkey and it's all cooked, and you give it that nice little twist and twist and twist. Think of weird things over the years in yoga. But truth is truth. So then if you can, you take hold of your foot, your right foot with your left hand, taking hold of the bottom of the foot, circle the foot in the other direction. Be very gentle with it. Press the foot down, press the foot forward. So our ankle joints, as we get older, get very rusty, so to speak, and very stiff. And we want to keep the health and the support of the arches as much as possible, because your arches are what give buoyancy to the whole rest of the body. So if you have, for some reason or another, if you have flat arches, then your knees take the weight, and your hips collapse, and then your back collapses, and then your neck collapses, and then your just, well, you tell, you know yourself. I don't know. And then, so stretch out, pull on the toes, stretch the leg and squeeze the back of squeeze the calf into the back of the thigh so that you're activating all of these acupressure points on the back of the arm and the back of the leg, which have to do with circulation and with digestion. And here is where balancing comes in. So you squeeze the leg and then you take your, I'm just going to do it. Squeeze the leg. See if you can lift up. And so maybe you can just lift up that left leg and then lift up the hips. Lift up the left leg, lift up the hips. Lift up the left leg, lift up the hips. See if you can lift both for a second. Maybe so, maybe not. If you are, it doesn't really matter, because even if you're in this position right here and you're holding the leg and you're squeezing, you're still getting the same benefits. It's just that the benefits intensify the deeper that you go into the practice. It doesn't matter whether you can get into full pose or not. Take the foot up into the groin if you can, otherwise the top of the thigh. You might, so have your foot be flat, not twist, not turned in. Have your foot be flat. And it's not so much your ankle that's pressing into the top of your thigh, more that it's the side of your foot. And if you can bring the foot all the way in to the top of the thigh and then straighten the foot out again. So you're not pulling the foot in. Notice when you pull the foot in how your ankle collapses. So you want to stretch out through both sides of the heel, inside and the outside the heel, so that the ankle, inner ankle and outer ankle stack on itself. And then turn towards the leg, away from the leg, and turn towards the leg. So I used to be able to pull my arm around and just wrap onto that foot. And so now I got about 3 inches before I get there, but I'm not going to strain. And, sometimes I might use a belt, wrap the belt around my foot and take hold of that. But for today, I'm just going to be where I am, because I am, what does Dr. Zeus say? Or maybe it's Peter Tosh. I am that I am, that I am, that I am. Or maybe the Avatar, Yeshua. So you are too. If you can, so we'll take a little bit of a forward extension. Turn the trunk from right to left and head forward any amount. So maybe your forward extension is sitting up straight. Depends on how much movement you have. Don't strain the knee. It's a little bit of a twist. Be on the very middle of your left leg, the middle of the heel. Pull the flesh away from underneath that left leg. Maybe you can reach the toes. Maybe you reach the shin. Maybe you're reaching the knee. Yogi's choice, this moment, today. Good, inhale, coming back up. Take hold of the back of that knee and stretch the knee. Stretch the whole leg out, extend through the heels, the ball mounds, maybe circle the foot. If you can take hold of the toe, yogi toe hold, great. But pull the shoulders back. So to take hold of the leg, don't crunch. You want to pull the shoulder back. Shoulder blades stay in Tadasana. And then taking hold of the back of the leg, taking hold of the knee, place that right leg back right down and then be here now. Pull the flesh away from the sits bones. Notice the feeling difference between the right leg and the left leg. I forgot to mention, you can certainly be up on a little bit of height. That will get you moving a little bit forward, and it helps to release the low back. So to sit on the floor and to do these leg movements, it's difficult. Go ahead and you can sit all the way up in your chair, or take a little bit of height. So yogi's choice. Now we'll do the left side. So taking the left leg and then just cradling it, going side to side, moving the sit bone. Or no, sits bones stay steady, but you're moving it. It will move a little bit. So what am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. You find out. I'm moving the head of the femur in the socket, but it's giving my sit bone a little bit of a massage. And then take the leg out a little bit more by holding onto the foot with your right hand. Sitting back up tall again. You can certainly lean back a little bit, but you want to be able to sit tall, not collapsing. Uh-oh, am I going to have to do that balance on this side too? Okay, maybe. We'll work it. We'll get there. So squeeze the leg, squeeze the arm with the calf into the back of the thigh. If you can squeeze and place your foot back on the ground and sit up tall again. So this side is very different than the other. I really can't even hardly get some lift here. Maybe if I take some height. But then I can't, yeah. So here, now I can keep my back nice and long and not squished because I took some little height on this side. If you can, squeeze, lift the front, lift the right leg, lift the butt, lift the right leg, lift the bottom, lift the right leg, lift the bottom. Woo! I haven't done that for a while. So, Ashtavakrasana, 8 crooked pose, something like that. Ashtavakrasana. Your arm balance. And without collapsing, come back to center. And then left leg up. Take a little forward extension perhaps. So same on this side. Take the foot, place it on the thigh, on the side of the foot, not pulling the foot up straight. You want your your inner ankle on top of your outer ankle and sitting up tall. So maybe you're sitting in a chair. No problem. Breath. Know that you're breathing. Maybe taking a forward extension. So as I come forward, my foot bows a little bit. So I'm going to try to straighten that out. Maybe cross the foot a little bit higher. Turn the trunk from right to left. So my left trunk and my right trunk are level and I'm not rounding. It's like a ski lift. Ski hill, nice and long. Parallel skis. And then inhale to come back up. Take the back of the leg, straighten that leg out. Okay. So now pressing through both sides of the heel and the ball mount. So you stretch and reopen up both the inner and the outer knee from those knee bends. So maybe you're holding the back of the leg. Maybe you can hold the calf. Maybe the ankles. Maybe you can take hold of the right toe with the yogi toe hold. Maybe you can take the left leg out to the side, maybe forward. Again, sitting in a chair. Same. You're holding the back of the thigh, you're holding the back of the knee, calf, shin, whatever. And then coming down. Lay your left leg back down on the earth. Sit up tall again, and again. Center of the brain, right over the center of the bowl of the pelvis, and just receive. And pull the flesh away from the backs of the thighs, so you're as much as you can on the center of both legs. Be on the center of the heel. And take a little bit of a forward bend. So again here, it's nice to have a chair. Or you can stretch your foot out underneath the couch and use the couch for head support. So we'll take one, what is it called? Paschimottanasana. So one forward extension, keeping the legs. So keep the legs active. Be on even more onto the thigh, as feeling the thigh grounding even more than the sits bones. Stretching out through the heels, pull the toes forward. So, and then maybe your forward extension is sitting up tall. I'll back up a little. So maybe today, your forward bend, maybe you won't go down. It's okay. It's more important to keep the spine long, so you don't want to round the back to get the head down. It's more about lengthening. So if you have a yoga chair, and if you don't have a yoga chair, I encourage you to get a yoga chair. And you can get them at the whatever you call it, stores. Lowe's and Menards and Target. Home Depot did not have this kind of a nice folding chair, but I got it at Lowe's for $12. So pull the flesh away from both sits bones. And again, you might want to take some height. So you might also want to have yoga blankets. If you're serious about a yoga practice, you want yoga blankets. Blankets that fold up evenly and nice and that you can stack them. And then you can have them on your couch for later on when you're relaxing on the couch and you need a little bit of a warmth, like today when it's a little chilly. So notice how when I have this, I'm up a little bit higher and I can actually extend out forward because I get that nutation. And you want this stretch to be in the back of the legs, not the low back. And if you're on a lot of height, you can have something under your knees so that your knees are supported. Breathe. Maybe you're sitting up tall. Breathe. Be here now. Surrender to the breath. What else have you got to do? Be with sensation. Back away from the sensation, then come back to it with your breath. This is an intense stretch to the west side of the body. Your back body, your west side of the body. It needs to wake up. You want to be aware. You want to wake up to both sides of this whole crazy situation going on right now. So back up, you'll take your left leg and take it out to the side. So, left leg, bring it up to the knee, bring your left knee up to your shoulder, and then drop the left knee out to the side, and then pull the flesh away from your right sit bone, and then turn towards that leg. Turn the whole body towards the right leg. And again, if you have a chair, you can extend out over the chair. Or you could be sitting up straight. Or if you go a little further, and you can take head support with a block or a bolster. Or you can just be content sitting up nice and tall. Press out through your right leg. Even weight on both sits bones. Turning the left side of the body over to the right. So it's a gentle twist. Once you take the body into the position, then you find the breath. And then maybe the breath leads you to making a little bit of adjustment of the body. So feel free to adjust and then come back to the breath. And then just be, without trying to change anything. And then preparing to come back to the pose, out of the pose. Find the body again. Find where you're grounded. Find the breath. And then inhale. Walk yourself back up to center. Receive. Let the blood flow normalize. Let the nervous system and the breath normalize. Where do you feel this? So sit up tall again. Tall. And then kind of lean back a little bit to take hold of your right leg. And then with that bent knee, turn, take a twist. Right arm comes around the front of the left knee and turn and twist. Your left hand is a kickstand behind you. You can lean back a little bit and then bring yourself back up to brain over pelvis. Are you aware of your right leg? Even though you're turned all the way around. And then roll back around and twist a little over to the other side, and then come back to center, and then straighten the legs out for a moment. Inhaling and exhaling. And then take hold, pick up your right leg. Squeeze it a little bit and then drop it over to the right side. Pull your right heel in and then turn towards the left side. Pull the flesh away from your left bottom. And then sit up tall and straight again for a moment. I suppose today we're not even going to stand up. That sounds okay for a Saturday, doesn't it? Tomorrow we'll stand up and we'll go upside down. So this is a completely different side than the right side. So if you do have a chair, have it ready so that you can extend out, and maybe your head can rest on the chair, or maybe your arms. Press into the legs to lift the heart up. Press into the legs to lift the heart up. Press into the legs to lift the heart up. Turn towards the left leg. But my heart is headed for the space between the legs. So you don't have to go, they often call this pose head to knee. Janu Shirsasana. However, the Janushasana is the right knee. It's the head of the knee, the right knee. This is the head of the knee. You're grounding from this spot. And it's heart to the earth. Maybe if you go a little bit deeper, your heart may head towards your knee, and maybe your head, but it's not even going to, it's going to go past the knee by the time that your head gets there. Head of the knee, Janushasana, right knee, head. Again, maybe your forward extension is sitting up tall. And maybe coming just a little inch forward before you start feeling the real pull and strain. And so breathe. Allow. The breath will come a little bit quicker. See if you can normalize the breath. Grounding through the right leg, that bent right leg, ground through your left leg. And then inhale, walk yourself back up to center. Take a breath. Woo. Take your right knee, draw in and up. Sit up tall again, and then turn towards that leg. So again, maybe you want to be on some height for these poses. Or try it with and try it without. Shoulders belong to the back. Turning, twisting. Your left side rolls around to the right. Even though you're going to the right, do you know what's going on with your left leg? Find out. Consciousness. Movement with breath. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale. Twist a little bit deeper. Inhale. Lengthen, exhale, turn back around, all the way around to the other side, and then back to center, and then straighten out that right leg again, and just be here. And then bring your feet into Baddha Konasana, and just be here. If your knees are up real high, it's an indication that you want yoga blankets or a bolster. If you're in a chair, some of you hopefully are still practicing. Even if you're in a chair, bring your feet together and your knees wide and be on your toes as best you can. Maybe you can start to drop down. You can try this if you have your yoga chair. Be very careful. Don't strain your knees. So be on your heels together, and you're on the ball mounds of your toes, and then just drop down. Let yourself drop down. Keep dropping the sits bones and lengthening the side body. And then press into your hands to breathe in to come back up. One more time. So you can either be sitting you're on the floor in Baddha Konasana, lengthen from your sacrum all the way out to your knees. The knees, don't push them down. You want to go out with the knees. Or else if you're in the chair, if you want to try this chair Baddha Konasana, or this chair pose, toes out. So my toes are out, my heels are touching, And then I'm going to lengthen the side body and drop the sits bones. Holding onto the chair. And then sits bones drop even more. Lift the heart. Lift the heart. Lift the heart. Pull up like a Kegel on the second layer of your pelvic floor. If you wanted to stay in this pose, you have a block here, or a bolster, or a blanket, and then inhale, coming back up, keeping that sense of the Kegel, drawing up on that second layer of the pelvic floor. Waist back, navel back. Receive. Feel. Allow. Listen. Listen to your body. Feel the blood flow. You've just compressed the backs of your legs, and now you released it, and so fresh blood flow is coming into those areas, activating all of those acupuncture points, all of those nadis, which have to do with your circulation and your immune system and your digestion. So give it a moment to receive. Okay? So I don't really like to just go rushing into from pose to pose. Some traditions, and sometimes that's how they do it. Fine. So we're going to take a shoulder stand and then Shavasana. So use the chair and or use the floor and just do a bridge. So variations. And then we're going into relaxation. Shavasana. Variations on the floor. Coming down. Hips. Feet in front of your hips. With your knees together, scoop the hips and lift up. Keep scooping the hips. Lift the inner thighs, not the belly. When you press down into the back of the arms, knees forward, weight even on all of the feet, front and back, right side, left side. And then one vertebra at a time, lower down till the tip of your tailbone lands last, if it were to land. And then peeling yourself back up again. Scoop the hips to peel the back, the sits bones up. And now the sacrum. And then the lumbar, and then the thoracic. Pressing down into your arms. Lift the inner thighs more. Don't just push the belly up, and then lift the heart as if there's a hand at the back of your spine. Lift your heart, lifting the heart. Setu Bandha. We'll all just take Setu Bandha. We'll do shoulder stand tomorrow. If you have a block, if you have a yoga block, you can scoop the hips up, way up, and come onto it so your sacrum is on the block. So you'll want a yoga block. And then scooping the hips to come up. And then your thoracic. So one pearl of a vertebra at a time, dropping back down onto the table. One at a time. So your sacrum lands last. And then just stretch out your feet. Stretch, make the heels long. Roll, lift up the heart and roll the shoulders under the back. Scooch the hips a little. So you're on the full triangle of the sacrum. And then let your heels stretch out through the heels. Let the heels descend and then let the toes roll out. Shavasana. Complete relaxation. Time. Yay. Nothing left to do. And give yourself this time to relax. Even if you just joined, take Shavasana. If you can. Let your inner arch, if you can, take the time to lie back and lie down. Roll the shoulders under the back. So turn the arms from the inside out. Feel the shoulder blades roll down the back, moving away from the ears, and then scooch. So you want to be on the whole shoulder blade, especially the top spine, if possible. And then stabilize your head so your head's not tilting back. Or your chin isn't tucking too much. Level. And let the thighs release completely from the inside out. And feel the wrists on the earth. Inside, inner and outer wrists, both on the earth if possible, or place your hands on your heart or your belly. And lightly curl the fingers. So it's like in meditation, first you establish your attention to the body. And stabilize the body. And then when you feel the body, you've stabilized the body, notice the breath. So just like meditation. Come home to the breath. Perhaps lengthening your inhalation and your exhalation a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. Perhaps sounding out, exhaling out through your mouth. And then beginning to Samavriti, same inhale length and same exhale length, and softly. Seeing if you can softly breathe in and softly breathe out. Bring the breath in the nostrils all the way up to the bridge of the nose and straight back to the back of the head. And then into the heart, into the belly. Follow your inner gaze. Follow where that breath goes. Straight back to the back of the skull and into the heart. And for the next minute or so, pay extra close attention to the time and space at the very end of the exhalation, just before you breathe back in. Anchor your attention on that time and space at the very end of the exhalation and just before you breathe back in. And then you can even let that go. Drop the body. Drop the breath. Calmly abiding in spaciousness, timelessness. borderless, boundaryless. Inviting you to come back to normal waking consciousness. Take your time, and your inhalations a little bit deeper and your exhalations a little bit longer. Keep your eyes closed and see if you can perhaps drop a little bit deeper in your attention and your awareness to the space that you occupy. Timeless, borderless, boundaryless, effortless space. And when tracing your awareness as it percolates once again out, and when you feel ready, taking little micro movements, rolling your wrists, maybe turning your head gently, wiggling your toes. When you feel ready, bending your knees, maybe taking your arms up over the head with a little bit of a stretch and roll to the side. Take a few breaths there. And when you feel ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. And just taking in these words from my sister of the heart, Deborah Moonstar, who is on the other side, but always with me. True Earth Mother, teacher, navigator, lover of life. On this day before Mother's Day. So grateful I feel for all that is real within me, within you, within us all. Life force of creation which moves all things. So grateful within to feel your guidance. The strength and trust, this faith is a must. No room for doubt. Look all about you. Spirit within all, I hear your call. Purnamada, Purnamadam, Pranat Pranamadichite, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Pranama Vevavashishite. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I dedicate the merit and the virtue gathered through this practice to the lasting happiness and well-being of all beings, so all beings may be free from suffering and the causes and conditions of suffering. Namaste. Spirit within all, I hear your call. So grateful I feel for all that is real within you, within us all. Thank you so much for joining me in whatever capacity you have been able to. My honor and my pleasure to be with you virtually every day as much as possible. So, Stephen, Christine, my dear friend, Larry, Rona, Denise, Francie, hey Lance, Susan, you're very welcome, David Adato, as always, thank you, and Chad, Henry, where's my chocolate chip cookies, and anybody else who flew through here. Namaste, my friends, and move forward in your day with peace and joy and a sense of calm abidingness. And do your best. Just always do your best. I'll be here. Well, I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow. I'm going to take a yoga class with my mom, who's 80 years old, and she's teaching Heart Song Yoga Center on a Zoom class. I'll be taking a class with her, and my family is joining me. Anybody is welcome. Heart Song Yoga Center. 5 o'clock Minneapolis time, 6 o'clock East Coast. And he'll teach every Sunday. If you can't make it tomorrow, make it another day. You'll see where I come from when you meet my mother. So, namaste. Peace be with you. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And also if you have any special requests. And if I'm not back here tomorrow at 3, I'll be here Monday at 3. And for sure tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time, Minneapolis time, we'll be joining together for meditation satsang. And you can always check out my YouTube channel, Betsyyoga May, for meditations and for yoga classes. And please feel free to share and like. And like I said, just do your best. If possible, get yourself a yoga block. I like wooden blocks, or actually I like these bamboo blocks. These are really nice, and you can get them at Hugger Mugger, and or you can look up bamboo or cork. I don't know what it is. Wooden blocks, yoga blocks. But if possible, don't get the very light ones that are made out of like plastic or something. You want something solid. Also, if possible, get yourself some Mexican blankets for some yoga blankets that are easily foldable, that you can make into bolsters and you can make into rolls, and you can sit on them and you can place them over you and you can lie over them. And also, if possible, so shameless yoga prop sharing, get yourself a chair. And you can get these chairs and they fold up and they just get tucked away easily. And so we use this chair for a lot of things. And the more of you that keep coming, the more that you'll be realizing how to use them. And one more thing, get yourself a yoga belt if possible, with a cinch on it. A nice 8-foot long yoga belt. And that's all. And you don't need anything actually. But if you want, and you want to deepen, get some yoga props. And in the meantime, I'll see you later, okay? Have a great day. Have a great evening. I really appreciate you showing up. And namaste. You can go back and check this out if you just got here. Hey, Joanna. Jeff. Namaste.